On the home page, we've created shortcuts to the most common features users are currently interacting with. These can be found via other menus as well, but as I said, these are shortcuts. We're going to start with the search shortcut. This is your typical content search as you might find it on any ebook platform. That said, it might be slightly different in that it is searching the full text of the documents to find the most relevant results and not just the metadata of title, abstract, etc. So let's search for a title or a term. I've selected fungicide resistance. I'm going to search for that. As we search for through the documents, it will take a little longer than a typical Google search, and we can look at these results now on screen. You can see that it's found 411 documents, which is a lot of documents, even though it's sorted by relevancy. So what can we do to narrow down the search? So we're going to start on the left hand side, and we're going to use our Boolean type searches and put this one into quotes and then search again, and we hope that this will now reduce the number of results, and indeed it has. It's reduced it to 109, but that's still quite a number of results to deal with, but there are further refinement options down the left. So for example, we can refine by document type, whether we've got access or free access, only to subscribers, categories, and the categories are quite interesting because categories are being generated by the AI having read the content, so that we can then scroll through these and choose something that's more relevant to our requirements. In addition to this, we can search by content types, and in this instance we've got research papers and also from publication date as well. So I'm going to search and reduce my results down. I'm going to pick disease management. This is going to update the results and produce a smaller list, and now we have 20, so we can see that this has now generated a much smaller set of search results. So I'm going to leave the filtering there, but firstly, before we get into the content to have a look at it, I'm going to introduce this preview content, which is this little eye. What this is doing, the AI is in play, and it's reading the document and saying, okay, here's a summary. I'm going to give you some insight into what that document is about, and it gives you that summary, tips and examples, benefits, challenges and risks, and where to go next. So this is a brief introduction to the document, and that helps you decide whether it's something that you want to go deeper into. So on this occasion, we'll have a look and we'll say yes, we want to delve deeper into this document, and we'll click on the link, and that will take you through to a typical ebook reading screen. So here we can see the document, which is Fungicide Resistance, Evolutionary Questions and Practical Implications by Nicola Hawkins from NIAB. If we just scroll through the document, you can see it's got an introduction, a table of contents, and then all the way through this document you can see the relevant sections. And at the back we've got all the references to the original research that this document is reviewing. So let's scroll back up and let's think about what we can do here. So it's a document that we want to look at, but I haven't got time to read it, so I want to summarize it. So we're going to go into Analyze, and we're going to choose a prompt. And this is going to open up our mini prompt library, and this identifies certain prompts that we can work with. And you can see there's quite a few to start with, but the first, we're going to keep it quite simple. We're going to ask a question of this research paper. So we're going to click on the AI assistant, and it's asking us what would we like to know. I'm going to ask the question of the document, and the AI is what are the 5 key takeaways from this document, and I'm going to hit the enter key, and the AI is now going to read that document and summarize it into 5 key points. And here we have it. So it's I won't go through each and read it, but it's there on screen. You can see the way that the AI has summarized it, picked out the key 5 points. What you should also notice is that there are numbers at the end of the sentences, and these are really important because these are actually referencing back to the original paper. Now I know this is a single paper that we've analysed, but if it was multiple papers, it would then take you and allow you to go to that document directly and then go to the passage of text that it took this information from. In addition, you can extend your research by asking another question of that document. You can make a report which you can output and edit, or you can move on to something else, which we are going to do. So I'm going to restart the analysis, and we're going to jump out and look at something different. First things first, I'm going to return to my search results. And next I'm going to jump into workspaces and show you how this works. So at the moment you can see I've got 20 documents in my workspace. So I'm just going to click on the workspaces and show you how I got there. So on the right hand side we've got 20 documents, various documents relating to fungicide resistance. If we scroll down and have a look at some, we've got one on bananas here, we've got one on fruit cultivation, something on cereals, another one on cereals, turfgrass disease management. You'll see that it's quite a variable subject within the scope of the search term of fungicide resistance. We may not want to run analysis on everything that we're seeing on the page. We might want to be more granular and specific about what we want to generate as an output. So there is an option here to add to workspace, and you can start to build up your relevant documents into a workspace and then run the AI analysis against that workspace. I've already done this by selecting 4 chapters that are relevant to bananas. So there's one there, there's another one here, another one here, and this is my 4 banana chapter workspace items, which we're going to jump into. And here they are. So I'm going to analyse just those 4 documents, and again I'm going to ask it a question. It's asking me what I would like to know, and I'm going to ask it what are the key applications of fungicide resistance in banana production, and we're going to let that run. So this is only going to look at those 4 documents as we've explained earlier, and it's going to produce some sort of output for us based on the question that I've asked it. And here we are. So it's come up with a number of items. Control of black leaf streak disease. It's pulled out a few points. You can see that we've got the references back to the original paper here, and also you can see that there are the 4 documents that it's referencing as part of this output. Additionally, you can make a report which is editable. You can export it to Word. You can add your own content to it. You can tweak the information that's come out. But you can see that there is a clear path through to the original research, which is really important. And if you feel like you need to then read that document, you have access to that straight away. Now let's look at an alternative prompt, but based on the same material. So I'm going to restart this, and we're going to jump back to our workspace. Here we are in our workspace. We've got 4 banana items, as it says, but I'm going to run a different prompt this time. Let me just refresh the screen. Now I'm going to run some presentation slides. Now this is interesting because we're now starting to get into more complex prompts. So we're going to ask the question, what should the topic of the presentation be on? And we're going to select fungicide resistance in bananas. Okay, so now it's asking us how many slides would we like? Well, we'd like 6 slides. And it's saying describe your audience. And we're going to say industry professionals. And that's now going to take all those components and generate an output. And here we are. So we've got slide 1, slide 2, talks about causes, impacts of fungicide resistance, all relevant to bananas. And you can see that it's pulling that information from a particular document that it felt was the most appropriate out the form. You can output again to a report, or you can go and ask further questions of the document itself. Other options might be where we've selected the audience as industry professionals. We could perhaps select 12-year-old school children. We could select farmers. We could select academics, so that the AI can interact and develop, and be creative with its outputs based on the audience. So that's our brief introduction to the search facility, and now we're going to move on to other areas.